Take me home to the banks of the River Tyne. Take me home to the places I call mine. It's a place I love best, 'cause it's better than the rest. Take me home to the banks of the River Tyne. Take me home to the banks of the River Tyne. Take me home to the place that I call mine. It's a place I love best. Yes, it's better than the rest. Take me home to the banks of the River Tyne.
هاوي ذا لادز، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أهلا بكم في برنامج نيوكاسل مع وليد. اليوم طبعا حصريا من دبي معنا صديقنا نيك مراسلنا المؤقت في قناة نيوكاسل مع وليد. We would like welcome Nick. Welcome Nick.
Hi guys, how's it going? You okay, Ollie?
Yes, I'm great. What about you?
Yes, I'm doing very well, thank you. Doing well in nice, hot and sunny Dubai. So yeah, I'm really enjoying myself.
Brilliant. So is it very hot in Dubai now?
It's bearable. It's hotter than the UK, hotter than London, which is good. Which is why I came out here to get some sun, get some heat. But yeah, it's lovely weather, and it's just about bearable for someone like myself, who's not used to hot weather all the time. But it's really good. Yeah, thank you.
Brilliant. So Nick, before we going to our exclusive and the stuff and the news, at the beginning, what you would like to share about yourself to the fans?
Sure.
Or Newcastle fans.
Yes, no, I'm a huge Newcastle fan. I live in London, but my father, he was born in Newcastle, so he's a born Geordie, and he basically forced me to support Newcastle from a young age. And obviously, it's been a tough time being a Newcastle fan for so long, and under obviously Mike Ashley, and having the numerous different managers where we were constantly in relegation fights year after year. But I stuck with the boys, and obviously now there's new hope with the club, and we're all looking forward to a brighter future for Newcastle United. Some of my favourite players over the years is of course Alan Shearer, absolute legend of not just only Newcastle but the Premier League as well as a whole. But more sort of the smaller players, I would say someone like Hatem Ben Arfa is a cult hero at Newcastle, and he's one of my favourite players, just with the ability that he has on the ball to dribble past certain defenders and score great goals. So those are a couple of my favourite players for Newcastle. Both past and present players would be obviously people like Alan St. Maximum, who's a great player, who's very similar to the likes of Ben Arfa, as well as someone like Kieran Trippier as well, who I think is a world-class defender. So that's a little bit about myself as to why I support Newcastle and who my favourite players are, both past and current players.
Brilliant, Nick. How did you see Newcastle this season, before and after the takeover?
Yeah, look, it started off not great. That probably puts it lightly. We had a tough start, and I think we won one game in 14, if I'm not mistaken, which wasn't great. We were in the relegation zone for pretty much most of this season. And before the takeover, before Eddie Howe came in, we had Mike Ashley and Steve Bruce, and things weren't looking great for us. I think a lot of the fans lost hope in the club. They lost faith. There was no positive thing about happening with Newcastle United. Of course, we knew about the takeover in general. It was happening in the background, but no one knew if it was actually going to happen or not. But, the Geordie faithful still kept turning up in numbers week in, week out to support their team. And now we're seeing a better Newcastle United, a new Newcastle United in that respect, especially since the start of the year in 2022, where we've been performing really, really well in recent games. Of course, the result against Everton, the result against Chelsea was hard to take, but the boys have put in great effort in recent weeks, and that's all we can ask for as a Newcastle fan is for them to show passion and fight on the pitch. And we're getting that. The likes of the new signings have helped, of course, but current players, previous players have also stepped up their performance. The likes of John Joe Shelby, for example, he is almost like a new player under Eddie Howe, and we're really seeing the best of John Joe Shelvey as an example. And long may it continue. We're still not out of it yet. We're still in a relegation fight. There's still a chance we might go down. But I have faith in Eddie Howe. I have faith in Murdad and Amanda that we will get out of this and look ahead for next season, where, fingers crossed, it'll be a lot more brighter and a lot more positive for Newcastle United moving forward.
You're talking about the schedule, standing table. How you see? Okay, no, this is our schedule now. How did you see Newcastle? Do you believe we still are we safe or not that safe?
Look, I think it's too early to say. Mathematically, we are not safe. We could lose 3 or 4 games in a row, and the teams below us could pick up a few points, and all of a sudden, we're right back in it. But what I will say is, the results aside, performances are good. We see them. They're working hard. They're running a lot. They're playing good football. I'm confident we will stay up, but I can't be sure. We have some tough fixtures coming up. I think we're still playing the likes of Man City, Liverpool, some tough fixtures. But there are also some winnable games as well. I look at the likes of Crystal Palace, Norwich. These are the type of games which we need to pick up points and ensure Premier League safety for next season. I'm confident we will do it, but football is the type of game that changes very quickly. You lose 2-3 games in a row, and all of a sudden things are a lot different. So I think the boys know that. Obviously, Eddie Howe knows that, and the fans know it too. But I have a lot of confidence that we will be fine this season, but it's too early to say. Until we're mathematically over the line, nothing's promised in this league,
Exactly. And if we want to talk about Newcastle, we can talk until tomorrow. But now we have a specific topic. Tell us about your experiment today as a reporter.
Yes. So,
what did you see? Tell us. How was your special day today?
Yes. No. Today was a very special day. You're absolutely right. As we all know, the current Newcastle United squad, alongside all the backroom staff, as well as the likes of Murdad, have travelled to Dubai for some warm weather training in the international break. I was lucky enough to come across some of the Newcastle United players today within the hotel that they're staying at, and got chatting to a few of the players. I got chatting to the likes of Jason Tyndall, Graham Jones. I spoke to them briefly about the general feeling amongst the boys, upcoming fixtures, injuries, and had some really interesting discussions with those players and those people. Super exciting for me because I was up close and personal with some of the players, and I'm a fan as well, so I was starstruck at times. But yeah, all in all, had a great day out meeting the guys and having a good chat with them today in Dubai, which I was lucky enough to come across them and speak to them. And can I just say also, they're all very nice people as well. They have time for fans. They are very friendly, approachable. They always take time for photos with fans as well. So just want to shout out the guys who had time to take a photo with me today and speak to me. I really do appreciate it.
Let's start picture by picture. So Dwight Gale, he's one of my favorite, and of course Shelvey. Is it just a picture, or we have a chat? What happened?
Yeah, I had a brief chat with John Joe Shelvey and Dwight Gale. What I will say is they're not the biggest of talkers. They're quite quiet people, and they do their talking on the pitch, which is the best thing, to be honest. But I spoke to them briefly about the upcoming Tottenham game. I asked them if they were confident, and and they said they will do their best and they're preparing hard. Obviously Eddie has got them working to his style, his philosophy, and it's down to them to execute that style of play on the pitch. And we need to pick up some points now, obviously back of 2 losses from Chelsea and Everton, and Tottenham's a good chance for us to bounce back and pick up some points. And they're confident that they can get a result, but as we know, Tottenham are a good team. They are a top team. They are towards the top of the table for a reason, so it will be tough for the boys. But John Joe, Dwight, and I spoke to a little bit with Jason and Graham as well. They're all confident.
Yeah. But regarding Shelby, have he talked about his injury or anything regarding his absence? Oh.
Yeah, I know he's been absent from the team. We didn't speak about that, unfortunately. I didn't want to take up too much of his time. Is the short answer, but obviously he's keen to get back on the pitch. We all know that, and we all can see his quality as well. And I think maybe if he played in the Everton game, things might have been different having his quality in the midfield. But who knows? But fingers crossed he's back for the upcoming Tottenham game in a couple of weeks.
Who's the fourth person? I didn't recognize him.
I think he's one of the analysts or coaches. I'm unsure of his name. I'll hold up my hands. I'm not too sure.
All right.
So on the left-hand side, we have Jason Tyndall, and in the middle, we have Graham Jones. Obviously, Graham Jones took charge of, I believe, 3 Newcastle games before Eddie Howe. And Jason Tyndall is the assistant coach to Eddie Howe. Really nice guys. I wish them well for the rest of the season. And I said, their focus is on this upcoming Tottenham game, and their full focus will be on that, training hard for the next 2 weeks in Dubai, and they're confident that they can get a result against a good Tottenham team.
Brilliant stuff, Nick. Let's go to the next picture.
Yeah.
Actually, I meet them in Jeddah, and they are, as you said, approachable, so lovely, respectful. It's really great team. Great team. Okay, we have Hayden. Interesting player.
Yes, so I caught him just near the poolside. He was just listening to his music, relaxing, and I just asked him for a photo. And once I did, I then asked about his injury. As we all know, I believe he was left out the Premier League squad this season due to injury. If you've been following Newcastle for a while, you'll know he's a key player and a very good midfielder. He was pivotal in our championship season, and he was pivotal last season and kept us up. So it was a big shame to have him injured. But I spoke to him about his injury today. He mentioned yesterday was the first time he ran on grass for a number of months post-injury, which is really positive. So things are moving forward for Isaac Hayden. He is progressing in his injury, but it's too early for him to be kicking a football. It's still in the early stages of his recovery. Obviously, we won't see him put on a Newcastle shirt for the remainder of the season, but fingers crossed, once he's recovered, once he's had a pre-season with Eddie Howe, next season, fingers crossed, we're also in the Premier League, he'll put on a shirt for Newcastle once again, because I do really like Isaac Hayden. I think he has a great attitude to the game. He's a very professional player. Just unfortunate with injuries this season has unfortunately let him down, especially he was putting in some good performances even under Bruce as well. I know he scored against Brighton in that 1-1 draw, and then he sort of got an injury post that, and fingers crossed he can recover as quickly as possible. But very nice guy, super professional, and had time to take a photo of me, which again I really appreciate.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite because he's have that style for play. Remind me of my favorite player in Saudi Arabia, Salman Al-Faraj, and he's a score brilliant goal when I was in the game, in the Brighton game. He scored the draw, and it was really happy night that night. So it's the only goal I watched on the stadium was from Hayden.
Yes.
All right, now Jacob Murphy.
Yeah. So Jacob Murphy, great guy, really funny. I spoke to him for a while actually, when we predominantly focused on the Chelsea game.
Tell us.
So if anyone who watched the game or saw the highlights of the game would know that we were very hard done by to lose 1-0. I felt the boys should have got at least a draw out of it, maybe a win. And I spoke to Murphy about his penalty incident, which wasn't given by VAR. And we both agreed that it was unbelievable that he didn't get that penalty. As you can see on the screen, his shirt was tugged, his legs were clipped, and the Premier League officials decided that this wasn't a penalty, and both of us were completely gobsmacked that this wasn't given, and it's just incredible that Chelsea got away with it. Obviously, we spoke about the red card as well on Dan Burn with Kai Havertz. This is obviously a bit more subjective. It could have been a yellow, could have been a red card, a bit more on the fence with this one. But we spoke about it. He believes that was also a red card on Dan Burn, and Kai Havertz shouldn't be on the pitch. And then obviously Kai Havertz scores the winner for Chelsea. So it was really, really tough to take for Newcastle United. He said the mood on the way home was pretty low, but they didn't have time to dwell because obviously had Everton 4 or 5 days later. They had to pick themselves up. And unfortunately, I know we lost that game, but I felt like we played okay in that game. We just lacked a bit of quality in the final third to really get the win. But no, Jacob Murphy, really great guy. I think obviously Alan St-Maximin has been injured or coming back from injury. He's really had to step up and almost take Alan St-Maximin's role for the time being whilst he's on the bench recovering. And I think he's done a great job. You know, he's been direct. He's drove at his opponents. And he's been a threat down the left-hand side and the right-hand side when we've needed him. You know, long may it continue. Obviously, he's an actual Newcastle fan as well, which helps. You know, we love to see the boys actually support the team as well as just play for the team. And yeah, I really do like Jacob Murphy. I think he's a good guy, he's a good person, and he's the sort of player that will just try his best and for the team, for the badge, and that's all we can ask for as fans. But yeah, we just had a bit of a chat about the penalty with Chelsea, really.
Yeah, I like. I believe Eddie Howe like Murphy and Fraser because they have tactical mind.
They do.
Not like Almiron and Saint-Maximin, which they have skillful and they just do their own style.
Yes, agreed. So, yeah, he very much listens to Eddie Howe, tracks back, plays part of the system, and he's a good player to have in the team. And he's, like I said, he's stepped up in terms of his efforts and his quality in Alan St-Maximin's absence. And we're all grateful for it. So long may it continue.
Okay, we have a couple of picture left. This one is kind of weird. It's like I noticed Shelby and I don't know, maybe Shelby and Ritchie and
so here is John Joe Shelby in the black t-shirts. On the far right hand side we have Kieran Clark, who's a centre back for Newcastle United, who isn't part of the Premier League squad now. Now that the new additions have joined the team. In the middle, in the black vest, is Matt Ritchie, and the one in the white t-shirt in the middle is Gillespie, who is a third choice goalkeeper for Newcastle United behind Carl Darlow and Martin Dubravka. So I took that photo. I was about to go up and speak to them, but as I was about to, they all sort of split off and Matt Ritchie was on the phone. So I didn't want to disturb them whilst they were speaking on the phone and stuff. But yeah, Matt Ritchie was also there in attendance with the guys. And I believe they all went off for lunch at that point.
Unsure. Yeah, they seem they are deciding where to go. Maybe they have 3 hours or.
Exactly. So this is their downtime. This is their rest and relaxation time before they start training. And they all sort of did their own thing. Unfortunately, I couldn't hear what they were talking about. I thought it was about their good time in Dubai and also about the football that they need to focus on as well, and the training that they're gonna do in a couple of days. So
have you any idea when they are gonna practice in Ned Shiba complex?
Yes. So when I spoke to Jacob Murphy, I asked him when they are going to start training, and they're training this day onwards in the sports complex, as you can see on the screen. Obviously, as we know, Eddie Howe works them hard. He trains them hard, and they're all prepared for it. Obviously, it's a little bit different. It's warm weather training, a bit more intense. Great for the ones that have injuries because it's good for rehab, having warm weather. So obviously the likes of Callum Wilson and all the other injured players will be travelling with them to the complex, but they will be doing their own, I guess, separate training session due to injury, as opposed with the main squad, who are the fully fit squad, sorry, I should say. That starts this Tuesday, coming in a couple of days. This Tuesday, yeah, in 2 days. So it's Sunday today, Tuesday, 2 days' time.
Brilliant. Last picture. We have only 5 minutes left. Last picture is one of the important pictures, and please tell us if there is any exclusive. We have our superstar Callum Wilson.
That is.
And he's the only one his shirt is off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, if you've got a good body like that, then why not? I would say. But yeah, like you said, Al-Walid, this is our superstar. This is our number 9, and he's a really good guy, Callum Wilson. A lot of time to take photos with fans, and really sort of cheeky, chappy type of player. I spoke to him about his injury. As we all know, he's been injured for a long time, and that's one of the reasons why we bought Chris Wood from Burnley to support the team in Callum Wilson's absence. But I did speak to him about his injury. I asked him when he would be back, and I guess you could say this is a bit of an exclusive, but his words were, "I'll be back in 1 month time." So I'm unsure how many fixtures that we're going to play in 1 month. I think maybe 2 or 3.
Norwich on 23.
Norwich
after 1 month.
1 month. So Norwich and Tottenham he will miss. So he'll be back in 1 month time. He's quite positive about his injury. He's feeling good about it, but still too early to be obviously playing on the pitch and the intensity of the Premier League that it brings. But in 1 month, we can expect, fingers crossed, that Callum Wilson will be back pulling on a shirt for Newcastle United and really helping the boys in this business end of the season where we have some important fixtures coming up. And these are the fixtures that are going to make or break our season. If we win those, if we win against the teams in and around us, then we have a really good chance of staying up. And Callum Wilson will be really important in that process. If he can get fit as soon as possible, the better. I think Chris Wood's done a great job. Don't get me wrong. I think he's done really well in transitioning to Newcastle United and playing the way he has. And I know he's only scored 1 goal, but his hold-up play, and he brings a different style of play, which is really good. But personally, my first choice preference is to have Callum Wilson back ahead of Chris Wood. And I think when he is, things will be different. I look at the Everton game, for example, and I think if Callum Wilson plays in that Everton game, we win. We were just missing that final third attacking quality, and Callum Wilson can bring it. And so Newcastle fans, we can expect to get him back on the pitch in about a month.
Nick, I lot agree with you, but what do you think about Eddie Howe? Who do you think he's preferred to be number 9?
I think Eddie Howe would prefer Callum Wilson to be number 9. Obviously, we know Eddie Howe worked with Callum Wilson in Bournemouth during his time, and they have built a great relationship with each other over the years. And I know before Callum Wilson's injury, we were starting to see some really good goals out of him. I think of the one against Crystal Palace. I think of the one against Tottenham. He scored some important goals for us. And I think if Eddie Howe had the choice between Chris Wood and Callum Wilson, I believe he would choose Callum Wilson because he is Newcastle's number 9. He is our main threat in front of goal. He does score some important and great goals if you provide service to him. That isn't to say that Eddie Howe might play both of them up top. I'm unsure. We might see that towards the end of the season. Who knows? But I think if he had to choose one, I think he would choose Callum Wilson. And I think the large majority of the fan base would also say the same. But that is no disrespect to Chris Wood. I think he's done a great job. But I think we're all rooting for Callum Wilson to get back on the pitch as soon as possible and really help the guys because I think he's a big miss. And some games which we've drawn or lost this season, he could have been the difference if he was playing. So fingers crossed he gets back on the pitch as soon as possible because I'm buzzing. I really like Callum Wilson.
Yes, we really miss him. Really, hopefully he will come
for Newcastle United. So yeah.
Okay, who's this player?
That's me.
Right. Sam asking, where is Dan Baird? Have you seen Dan Baird?
So I was looking out for Dan Baird because obviously he's 6'7". You can't miss him. But unfortunately, I couldn't. I didn't see him in the hotel today. I was looking out for him. I think he's come in and he's done really well so far since joining the team. And I wanted to speak to him. I wanted to see how he. Obviously, we all know in the Chelsea game where he, Kai Havertz turned him in the last couple of minutes, and I think you could see on Dan Burn's facial expression he was really upset. And I think, he's a Geordie as well. He was born in Newcastle, raised in Newcastle, and supports Newcastle. So he knows what it means to wear the shirt and fight for the badge. He knows exactly what it means. And unfortunately, I didn't get to bump into him, but I would have loved to have spoken to Dan Burn today. And you know, I'm quite a tall person as it is, but he is massive. So he made me look 5 foot, I think, if I stood next to him. As we've all seen the Ryan Fraser and Dan Burn photos, I'm sure, of them two standing next to each other. But yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't see him today.
That was very lovely, Nick. We would like at the end of our show to thank you for this great picture and participating to our channel. We wish you all the best and a happy holiday and a trip safe back to London, and hopefully to meet you later in St. James Park. Thank you, Nick.
Cheers, guys. Take care. Thank you for having me on, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
شكرا لكم. كان معنا نيك من دبي مباشرة. طبعا يعني ما نقدر نقول المكان اللي متواجدين فيه لأسباب أمنية، لكن كان معنا نيك من دبي، قابل بعض اللاعبين وأجرى معه بعض الحوارات اللي إن شاء الله راح نحاول ناخذ بعض التصريحات وراح نقصها إن شاء الله ونخليها مقاطع صغيرة أو ناخذ منها بعض التغريدات. شكرا لكم للمتابعة، ما تنسون الفولو والسبسكرايب واليوتيوب. يعني صراحة يعني قاعدين نبذل جهد كبير ويعني ما نستغني عن دعمكم. شكرا لكم وتصبحون على خير. Away the lads.
Take me home to the